Those years in quest of honor mine. Chapter 99. Emperor Chang'an's face grew purple for some reason. His throat clogged with blood, he could exhale but not inhale, and his eyes didn't look good. In a flash, the imperial physicians flew into panic. The imperial physician who had followed them along to the temporary imperial residence was summoned over. He was aware that Emperor Chang'an had not been in good health recently. However, never had he expected that it would grow so poor all of a sudden. As he helped Emperor Chang'an dispel the blood from his nose and mouth, he blurted, "What happened? What did he eat recently? Did he choke on something? Or was he angered to this point?" The old court eunuchs quickly explained the circumstances. Then the imperial physicians worked hard to feed Emperor Chang'an some heart recovery pill. They also applied acupuncture to him and discussed what to prescribe to him. Not only that, they rushed people to find Emperor Chang'an's previous pulse records. The resting palace fell into chaos. "Young prince! Prince!" shouted the court eunuch who always accompanied the emperor as he stumbled and rushed outside. He kneeled in front of Yushi and cried out, "Young prince! What should we do? We old slaves wanted to give His Majesty ginseng soup, but the imperial physicians said His Majesty has been angered to the point of having excessive internal heat. Ginseng soup can't save him. It will only make him die quicker. But if something happens, Your Highness, tell us what to do." Yushi looked directly at the Emperor Chang'an, who lay in bed far away. Not a word left his lips. His eyes were bloodshot. The surroundings were so noisy. However, Yushi could still hear the pounding of his heart, pounding in tune with the pulsing of the veins by his temples. He tried his best to control himself. Before he could speak, Royal Princess Angwo rushed in with large strides, shouting, "Why are you all standing around here doing nothing?" She glanced at Yushi. Once she caught sight of his expression, shock filled her heart. Then she turned to the old eunuch. After she asked him what happened, she hesitated for a long time, then said with tone as cold as ice, "Why are you all still listening to the imperial physician? If the imperial physicians were any use, then why has imperial brother's illness grown worse and worse? When the qi and blood of an individual are blocked, they normally cannot have ginseng soup, but does it really matter right now? The northern border is having unrest. The crown prince position is empty. If at this time, something happens to imperial brother, can you all shoulder the responsibility?" Princess Royal Angwo looked toward the interior of the resting palace, her gaze complicated. A good while later, she turned around and said, "Just feed it to him. We'll preserve his life first." The old eunuch feared that if he were not careful, he would be buried along with the emperor. What was needed was a person daring to make decisions at this time. Once he had the order, he rushed to spread it. Yushi looked up at Royal Princess Angwo, the corners of his lips rising a hint. Ridicule flashed through his gaze. Internal strife had immediately begun. The two shared a look. Royal Princess Angwo averted her gaze, forcing herself to maintain the dignity of a royal princess. Softly she asked, "Was he really angered to this point all of a sudden?" Yushi nodded. "Explain to me," said Royal Princess Angwo in an even softer voice. "Did imperial brother write any imperial edict previously?" Yushi asked, "What imperial edict? What do you think?" Royal Princess Angwo was truly anxious. "The edict conferring you the position of crown prince. Since Yu Muchen has already hidden Xian Rui somewhere, are you still unclear of what he wants to do? Imperial brother forced him too much, and now Yu Muchen has decided that this is a life and death struggle. Before imperial brother dies, you must quickly get this crown prince thing settled. We don't know how many backup plans Yu Muchen has. If he gets his way, you and I will die." Sweat covered the forehead of Royal Princess Angwo. She still wanted to talk to Yushi, but an eunuch rushed out of the room towards them. Reporting to young prince and royal princess, His Majesty can breathe now. His Majesty can breathe now. Such news caused royal Princess Angwo to be overjoyed. She no longer paid Yushi any mind and swiftly followed the eunuch inside. Chaos had run rampant for no less than 4 hours, when Emperor Chang'an finally roused. Before the imperial physicians could breathe out a sigh of relief, royal Princess Angwo frowned. What happened? Why can't the emperor open one of his eyes? Emperor Chang'an had opened his eyes, but one of his eyelids looked like someone was pulling it closed as it kept drooping. No matter what he did, he could not open that eye completely, it was kept half opened. An imperial physician rushed forward to examine it. Before he could find out the reason for this, Emperor Chang'an opened his mouth with much difficulty and he said a few words, but no one could catch them. The words proved incoherent and hard to make out. The imperial physician's expression changed. He kneeled before the emperor's bed. After he had examined Emperor Chang'an's pulse, he lifted his forearm and pressed a few of his acupuncture points. Then the imperial physician switched to the next forearm and did the same. Afterward, he inspected Emperor Chang'an's legs again. Royal Princess Angwo was getting impatient. I asked you why the emperor's eyes are like this, right? Who asked you about his legs? The imperial physician kneeled and faced her. Hesitatingly he said, reporting to Royal Princess, the emperor seems to speak. The imperial physician kowtowed. He seems to have suffered a paralyzing stroke. In a flash, everyone kneeled with a bang from fear. A paralyzing stroke, said Princess Royal Angwo, the picture of shock. Then can he get up in the future? The imperial physician remained kneeling and shook his head. It was unsure whether or not Emperor Chang'an, who was lying on the bed, had heard these words. From his throat came a hoarse sound. Royal Princess Angwo glanced at him. Hesitation in her gaze as she said, then can he still speak? The imperial physician paused before saying, when someone first gets a paralyzing stroke, we can't say for sure right away. We have to wait a few days before we can see. Right now, the best case scenario is that His Majesty can make a clear sound after a few days. After that, if we take care of him properly, he might be able to speak with much difficulty. But it's also possible that he would only be able to make hoarse and soft sounds for the rest of his life, stuck in bed with half his body paralyzed, becoming a cripple. After hearing this, Emperor Chang'an twitched, then threw up a mouthful of blood. Then the room fell into chaos once more. Yushi stood the farthest away from the emperor's bed compared to everyone else. With indifference, he looked at the Emperor Chang'an who lay in bed. Yushi did not even move an inch. Emperor Chang'an had fainted again. Because Royal Princess Angwo wholeheartedly wanted to give herself a life-saving talisman, she sincerely took care of Emperor Chang'an this time. She herself was still injured, but she did not care for it at present. Instead, she personally fed him medicine and wiped clean his lips. Even when her own wounds started to bleed, she could not spare time to care for them. The Empress was in poor health. After hearing what had occurred, she also fainted. All the imperial concubines wept as they paid the emperor a visit. Yet, Royal Princess Angwo shooed them all away. Imperial brother. Royal Princess Angwo slipped her finger with red-painted nails into Emperor Chang'an's mouth. She pried open his lips and fed him medicine. Don't die. Don't let everything fall into chaos. Don't die. A few types of medicine and 6 hours later, Emperor Chang'an finally fell asleep. Royal Princess Angwo's hair was in disarray. She was physically and mentally drained. She didn't care about anything else anymore and collapsed onto a chair by the side. Then she lifted her head and looked at the Yushi, who seemed like an outsider. In a hoarse voice, she said, "You can't leave." Expressionless, Yushi glanced at her. Xianjing came a few times, but he's left now. Imperial consort Yu, Suan Kaiyan, and their people made a huge fuss for no less than 6 hours. They left just now, probably to find the other imperial clan members. If I still don't leave, they might rush into the palace. Who dares? Do they want to revolt? Royal Princess Angwo fixed the messy hair on her temples. In a few hours, court will resume. You need to pacify the court ministers. In any case, you can't leave. Who knows when the emperor will awake? Once he wakes up, he will definitely hand down an imperial edict. At that time, those who were by his side would have the highest chance of success. Royal Princess Angwo had long since sent away the palace servants. Yushi no longer avoided the topic, and said, "You've already done what Yu Muchen instructed you to do. Are you not going to think about joining hands with him?" Royal Princess Angwo laughed in ridicule. "Can I really trust him? He makes it sound very good to me because he knows that only I can do this task." Then, she said in a low voice, "I am a princess of the first rank. As long as he has me to connect him with the other imperial clan members, to promise of my paternal relatives' benefits, they would be willing to take a risk. And when the emperor's health declines, they would turn around and support Yu Muchen. Wasn't that the reason he married that day? I've already done what I ought to do for him. I'm the same as those imperial clan members. When the emperor's health is truly in decline, I would think about helping Yu Muchen." A light flashed in her eyes. "But right now, nothing is certain. As long as the emperor still has the energy to hand down an imperial edict to have you as crown prince, I will not go down that path." Low laughter left Yushi's lips. "Mother, you won't even pretend in front of me anymore." His usage of the word mother angered her to the point where her face grew pale. She looked away and said in a cold voice, "Wasn't this what you said? That you were tired of me pretending, and that you would rather I interact with you honestly?" Yushi nodded. "Yes. I prefer this." When Yushi looked at Royal Princess Angwo now, he felt this was a lot better. 4 hours later, at the first glimmer of light, Emperor Chang'an once again woke up. The old eunuchs carefully fed him tea. Dazed, Emperor Chang'an opened his eyes and looked outside. He couldn't speak. An old eunuch supported him and said, "It was all Royal Princess Angwo. Thankfully, she took care of you for the whole day and night. While injured, she tended to your honored self without even changing clothes." "That's right. Young Prince also never left and has been guarding your bedside since the start." Emperor Chang'an could not feel his right arm at all. He used a lot of energy to lift his left hand. He gestured a little and whimpered. He thought, what about the others? What about Zhen's other 2 sons? The Empress? The imperial concubines? The old eunuch listened carefully, yet was still unable to understand what he meant. In a timid manner, he asked, "Your Majesty, what did you say?" Emperor Chang'an whimpered again, face purple and swollen. He shoved away the old eunuch and struggled a bit, almost falling back onto the bed. Royal Princess Angwo rushed forward to support him. She blurted out, "Imperial brother mustn't be impatient. Your dragon body is important. Lie down." Fearfully, Emperor Chang'an looked at her. He lay back down. And with much difficulty, moved about the eyes that could still be considered nimble. He took in his surroundings. He recalled everything that happened before he fainted. Then, he remembered hearing the words paralyzing stroke while he had still been out of it, and he tasted blood. Did he become a cripple now? Then what about Prince Yu? What about Xian Qiang? Why was there only this aunt and nephew pair in his bedroom chambers? What did these 2 do to the others? Just now, Emperor Chang'an had heard the palace servants say they were here all day and night. Such a long time had passed. Just how was it outside now? Everything should be turned on its head, right? Terrified to the extreme, Emperor Chang'an thought, did Yu Muchen, that old viper, already expose what had happened all those years ago? Beside himself, Emperor Chang'an leaned against a pillow, heart completely chilled. Originally, he thought he could hold on for another 2 to 3 years. Originally, he thought he could securely take care of Yu Muchen, Royal Princess Angguo, and Zhonghuan. Afterwards, he would use the position of emperor as a bargaining chip, grasping Yuxi in the palm of his hand until he died of old age. But in just one day, how could things have fallen to this state? Emperor Chang'an's gaze moved back and forth from Royal Princess Angguo and Yuxi for a good while. Neither too far away nor too close, Yuxi looked at Emperor Chang'an. Silent, he appreciated the near-death scent drifting from Emperor Chang'an's body. A long time later, Yuxi saw Emperor Chang'an howl in an unresigned manner. Then he struggled to point at Royal Princess Angguo. Yuxi sneered. He understood. Currently, Emperor Chang'an was already out of options. If not the Royal Princess, then he could only choose Yuxi. He chose Royal Princess Angguo. Yuxi didn't really care. From the start, he and them would not be on the same path. A wave of relief washed over Royal Princess Angguo. She rushed forward even closer. Grabbed Emperor Chang'an's hand anxiously. Imperial brother, do you have any orders? If so, just let me know. Although Emperor Chang'an wanted to speak, after failing a few times, he gave up. Then Royal Princess Angguo rushed to scold the palace servants, ordering them to bring over paper and a writing brush. Royal Princess Angguo supported him up. Emperor Chang'an held the writing brush with his left hand. He wrote on a blank booklet. His calligraphy was nearly illegible. Meanwhile, Royal Princess Angguo stared at it without blinking, like a starving wolf stalking its prey. Emperor Chang'an took no less than 30 minutes to finish writing in that booklet. Hesitatingly, Princess Royal Angguo asked, "Imperial brother?" Emperor Chang'an shook his head. He pushed the booklet toward her chest, then picked up the writing brush again. And spent a lot of energy writing directly on the blanket. If he doesn't follow this posthumous edict, someone naturally would. Imperial brother doesn't want to think it over again. Uneasy, Princess Royal Angguo glanced at Yuxi. Sui Yu. Emperor Chang'an waved. Then he picked up another blank booklet and wrote on it for a long time. This time, he did not give it to Royal Princess Angguo. Rather, he looked at Yuxi. The old eunuch rushed to take the imperial edict and presented it to Yuxi with both hands. Yuxi kneeled, expressionless. He received the edict and read through it. This wasn't an imperial edict that established a crown prince. Actually, it wasn't even for Yuxi. The edict wrote that the new emperor was young, and that Emperor Chang'an feared that he would covet political achievements and be rash, among other things. After a slew of nonsense, the imperial edict ordered the new emperor that before ascending the throne, he must tell everyone in the world that before 30 years from now past, he must not disobey the late emperor's orders. Yuxi's thoughts were in a mess. What did the imperial edict Emperor Chang'an had given to Princess Royal Angguo say? Yuxi had a guess. Why did he give it to her but not Yuxi? This, Yuxi also understood. However, momentarily, Yuxi did not understand why Emperor Chang'an gave out this specific imperial edict. He raised his head and looked at Emperor Chang'an. Emperor Chang'an glanced at him in a cold and disappointed manner, before waving. The old eunuch took back the imperial edict that had been in Yuxi's hands. Then Emperor Chang'an used all his energy to pick up the imperial seal, stamping both of the imperial edicts. Following that, he pushed everything together toward Royal Princess Angguo. And afterward, he picked up the writing brush and wrote onto the covers, "Once it's daybreak, order the high-ranking ministers to enter the palace. We want to personally show these two imperial edicts to those ministers. After that, these imperial edicts will be looked after by you." Emperor Chang'an gripped Royal Princess Angguo's hand, frightening her. He wrote on her hand, "If he ascends the throne smoothly, the rest of your life will be lived in glory. Angguo, watch him carefully for Zhen." Never had Royal Princess Angguo anticipated that Emperor Chang'an could still control the situation at this point, controlling Yuxi and herself in such a rapid manner. Scared witless, she nodded, gripping the two imperial edicts. At last, Emperor Chang'an felt relieved. He beckoned for Yushi to approach. Emperor Chang'an seemed to both pity and fear Yushi as he looked at him. A good while later, he took Yushi's hand and wrote in his palm, "Don't worry. It's your name on that imperial edict." Emperor Chang'an was on the brink of total exhaustion. He rested for a moment, then continued to write on Yushi's hand, "Help Zhen take care of Prince Yu, so that Zhen's reputation can remain clean. Only in this way can you maintain the power of this imperial edict. Otherwise, this country will belong to Xian Rui. Do you understand, my child?" Yushi kneeled. At that moment, he understood what that other imperial edict was for, a chill penetrating his bones. For a moment, the room was quiet enough to hear a pin drop. Yushi's eyes widened so much that they almost split open. In a hoarse voice, he said, "Your Majesty, even now, you won't let go of Gui Yuan." Emperor Chang'an glanced at him, cold and detached. He wrote, "Zhen already gave him a chance." Outside the palace hall, old imperial preceptor Shi had kneeled for a long time. The scent of something that had burned in the carriage. The disappointment, frustration, and relief in Zhonwan's eyes. In a flash, Yushi had understood everything. He pressed his head against the side of the bed and could not help but laugh. Originally, he thought he had been stabbed so many times in the heart these many years already, so he shouldn't be able to feel bitterly disappointed anymore. Shouldn't he have long since been used to this? Wasn't it the most usual thing for people to scheme against him and frame him? So why did he suddenly find it unbearable? Once Royal Princess Angguo had heard his frightening laughter, she anxiously said, "Sui Yu, don't go crazy." Yushi choked, then coughed a couple times. He smiled. "Stop putting on an act." With a lot of difficulty, Yushi supported himself to a stand using the side of the bed. Softly, he said, "Enough. I understand what these two imperial edicts mean." Suddenly, Emperor Chang'an felt uneasy. He stared at Yushi, his lips twitching. Yushi looked disdainfully at Emperor Chang'an and at Royal Princess Angguo. He said in a low voice, "What do you people think I want?" Fear struck Emperor Chang'an's heart. Before he could write anything else, Yushi dully said, "I won't play this game anymore." And he turned around and left without ever looking back. Emperor Chang'an's heart pounded. Xian Qian had colluded with another country, so he could no longer ascend the throne. Xianjing would not be able to win against Yu Muchen. And Yushi didn't want to take part in this anymore. He only had 3 sons. Who could he give his throne to? That Xian Rui whose life or death condition was not even known. Moreover, let's not talk about the heir apparent to the throne right now. If he didn't have Yushi, who could deal with Yu Muchen, who's eyeing the throne covetously, for him? Did he have to rely on the indecisive Angguo? Wasn't she willing to help him now so that she could be the future Empress Dowager? If Yushi would not become the next emperor, how would she continue to help him? He had been too greedy. In the end, he could not have anything. In a flash, Emperor Chang'an felt regret. Everything had happened too quickly. After sitting on the dragon throne for decades, he did not have many bargaining chips anymore. Never had he imagined that Yushi would actually fall out with him because of this matter. Anxious and perplexed, Emperor Chang'an looked in Princess Royal Angguo's way. Then he used all his energy to shove her away. Royal Princess Angguo understood. She cursed Emperor Chang'an in her heart for being too greedy and for not understanding he was already useless. At this time, he actually still had the desire to control Zhonwan. He had fallen within sight of success, infuriating Yushi due to this trivial matter at the end. Royal Princess Angguo forced herself to say, "Imperial brother mustn't be anxious. I'll look for Sui Yu." He just became angry for the moment. Imperial brother knows that once Sui Yu is angry, he's capable of saying anything. It's all right, it's all right. What can't be discussed between blood-related father and son? Royal Princess Angwo was both consoling Emperor Chang'an and herself. Don't worry, imperial brother. Sui Yu just has a bad temper. If he doesn't ascend the throne, does he not want his life? I will persuade him. He'll come to his senses quickly. Emperor Chang'an strove hard to nod. Royal Princess Angwo couldn't care about him anymore, and ordered the palace servants not to allow others to enter this resting palace. And quick as lightning, she went to find Yushi. End chapter. Those years in quest of honor mine. Chapter 100. Sui Yu. Sui Yu. As Royal Princess Angwo rushed down the coiled dragonstone stairs, she accidentally twisted her ankle. The lady-in-waiting following her hurriedly came close to help hold her up. At this moment, Royal Princess Angwo didn't have the time to bother with being proper anymore. She pushed the lady-in-waiting away and took huge steps toward the palace exit. Meanwhile, Yushi took long strides as he walked out. Right now, he only wanted to see Zhongyuan. If the events of today were due to 10 points of effort, Zhongyuan alone had contributed 9 of those 10 points. The way he had exposed the Baidu situation had been too perfect. Yushi had always been responsible for this incident. Zhongyuan didn't have any physical evidence or witnesses at his disposal. In all honesty, Yushi hadn't been very hopeful for success. This hadn't been the original plan. But at the time, Yushi had felt that this was probably the best opportunity. If not for the fact that Emperor Chang'an's body truly couldn't hold out any longer, he absolutely wouldn't have placed trust in Yushi. He must have sensed somehow that he was near his limit. Upon realizing that Yu Muchen's situation was connected to Xian Rui's, he had no other option but to add Yushi to his list of trusted subordinates and entrust him with the task. After all, in Emperor Chang'an's eyes, they were on the same side regarding this issue. But it was extremely difficult to get a hold of that letter written in blood, perfectly destroy the parts related to Yushi, and find the right person to send the evidence to the emperor in such a short amount of time. Yet, Zhongyuan had succeeded. This was the first unforeseen incident. The hatred of the past had retaliated too quickly, wholly breaking Emperor Chang'an's decaying skeleton into several pieces, as if he had been struck by falling boulders. He had actually gotten a stroke. This was the second unforeseen incident. With the first unforeseen incident, Emperor Chang'an had completely lost a son that could inherit the throne. With the second unforeseen incident, Emperor Chang'an had lost his leverage against Yushi. Thus, Yushi now had the confidence to toss Emperor Chang'an off to the side. These past few months, Yushi had had enough of pretending to be the filial son, too. When he thought of the fact that Emperor Chang'an had once kept him in the dark to try and bribe and threaten Zhongyuan, an indescribable feeling of disgust filled Yushi's chest. There were always people who didn't treat others like human beings. They would carelessly fiddle with and throw around something someone else cared deeply about and find pleasure in doing so. It was no matter that he was unwilling to grant Shijin and Zhongyuan's only wish. Why did he need to purposefully dangle this in front of Zhongyuan as if he were toying with a dog? For fun? Even today, they still didn't look at him or Zhongyuan as human beings. Then there was no need for him to wait upon the other either. This would also allow Emperor Chang'an to feel the cold wind and understand that times have changed. Did he really still have so much confidence? Yushi exited the palace. Outside the palace doors, the coachman of the side courtyard of Prince Yu's estate had already brought the horse carriage over. Yushi was just about to get into the carriage when Royal Princess Angwo, who had been chasing him this entire way, finally caught up. Royal Princess Angwo instantly grabbed onto Yushi's sleeve. Agitatedly, she yelled, "Listen to me." Yushi turned around and slowly tugged his sleeve back. He coldly gazed at Royal Princess Angwo and said, "You don't need to place your hopes in me anymore. Go find Yu Muchen now. There's still time. It hasn't gotten to that point yet." Hear me out first. Royal Princess Angwo looked around and impatiently gave her lady-in-waiting a meaningful look. The lady-in-waiting immediately told the surrounding servants and coachmen to retreat. As the first rays of sun illuminated the sky, this aunt and nephew pair stared at each other. Listen to me. I've already figured everything out. Princess Royal Angwo was terrified that Yushi would leave again. She stood in front of Yushi's horse carriage and rapidly said, "The purpose of the Emperor's imperial decree was to prevent you from doing anything about Zhonwan's issue in the future, right? He already used this to threaten Zhonwan before, but Zhonwan didn't agree, so he became impatient and refused to discuss with you any further. He wants to completely make you give up on this plan, correct?" Royal Princess Angwo nodded in panic. "Yes, the Emperor knows, too. Only this last decree that has to be announced to all the officials can control you." "Yes, that must be the case." Yushi's expression was cold. He distantly gazed at Royal Princess Angwo. "Hear me out first. This situation is still up for negotiation. The Emperor is already feeling regretful," Royal Princess Angwo said. "The second imperial decree is in my breast pocket right now. As long as you desire it, this imperial decree will never be seen by a fourth person. I swear." Royal Princess Angwo was fearful that Yushi wouldn't trust her. In agitation, she pulled out the imperial decree and handed it to Yushi so he could look over it. She added, "It's real. I left the other imperial decree to the Emperor. When day breaks, the officials will all enter the palace. They'll only see that imperial decree. I swear that that imperial decree has no mention of Zhonwan at all. That's the decree that names you as Crown Prince." "Child." Royal Princess Angwo's eyes were filled with tears. She cried out, "As soon as the sun rises, you'll be the Crown Prince." Yushi wasn't affected at all. He apathetically looked at Royal Princess Angwo and held a hand out to her. Princess Royal Angwo hurriedly made to hand the imperial decree in her hands over to Yushi, but right before doing so, she paused. In a daze, she asked, "Sui, you are really going to tear it up?" Yushi didn't want to waste any more time speaking with Royal Princess Angwo. "If the Emperor and Princess haven't made up your minds yet, you can go find someone else." "Wait." Princess Royal Angwo hurriedly said. "You don't need to threaten me anymore. I believe you now. You're really going all out. The Emperor believes that, too. But you've already waited so long for today. You won't mind hearing me say a few extra words, right? Let me finish. Whether you want me to send this imperial decree back or tear it up on the spot, that's all up to you." Yushi coldly gazed at Royal Princess Angwo. He couldn't understand what else she could have to say. He also couldn't understand why he would be crazy enough to send the imperial decree back. "Sui, you, I'm not trying to argue on the Emperor's behalf. As of now, I can only rely on you. I'm trying to help you come up with a plan. Trust me. This decree from Imperial Brother definitely isn't only designed to exact revenge on Zhonwan's arrogance. This is a matter of life and death. He hasn't gotten so foolish yet." Royal Princess Angwo clutched onto Yushi's wrist once more and lowered her voice to say, "The Emperor previously went to the temporary Imperial Palace and put on an assassination act just to get rid of Prince Yu and also me. But at the end of the day, he was trying to clear the road for the new Emperor. Including this Imperial decree. Sui Yu." Princess Royal Angwo gazed deep into Yushi's eyes. "Do you believe that if the other princes weren't either dead or useless, and if the Emperor didn't feel like he didn't have the energy to do so, he would definitely kill Zhonwan? He would never do something as simple as ending Zhonwan's political career?" Yushi nodded. "Should I thank him for not being completely ruthless?" Royal Princess Angwo was speechless. Then, she said, "I won't talk about these things with you. I'm also not here to be the Emperor's sympathizer. I only want you to wake up a bit. Figure out if this imperial decree is trying to help you or not. You're currently only one step away from that throne. After this one step, the entire world will be yours. By then, we won't be able to control how you want to adore him. Gold, silver, estates, whatever you want to gift him. Even if you placed him in the imperial harem, no one would be able to say anything. Isn't that enough for you? Why are you so adamant about him beginning a political career? Someone like him, as long as you allow him to take the imperial examination once more, given his talent and your affection, he will definitely become an extremely influential official in the future. Royal Princess Angwo's voice was low as she said, Suiyu, tell me. 10 years down the line, multiple decades down the line, how are you going to balance out the relationship between him and the future emperor? On the day you two run out of fate, how are you going to guarantee that the person who helped you onto the throne, the one who knows all of your weaknesses, isn't going to become the next Yumachan? Can't the emperor think of the things even I can think of? Royal Princess Angwo lowered her voice even more. Suiyu. As of now, someone has already become the villain for you. Just go with the flow and agree, alright. You want Zhongyuan. From now on, Zhongyuan will be yours. And you can have him completely under your control. In the future, no matter if you want an empress, numerous consorts, or even if you want other men, he won't be able to do anything to you. And he absolutely won't be a threat to your offspring. What's so harmful about this imperial decree? Just now, you were overtaken by a moment of passion. Royal Princess Angwo looked at Yushi in anticipation. She ingratiatingly inquired, Child, have you thought it through now? Yushi completely understood. He scoffed. The game of kings. The emperor is being a bit vengeful, I can tell, said Royal Princess Angwo. But I can also tell that he's trying to lay out a longer path for you. Besides, for the emperor to be so fearful of Zhongyuan. Royal Princess Angwo asked, aren't you also at fault? From when you were in your teenage years, how many foolish things have you done for Zhongyuan? Even now, Royal Princess Angwo still resented the fact that Zhongyuan had ruined Yushi's marriage plans back then. Otherwise, if Yushi had gotten married and had children early on, these subsequent problems probably wouldn't exist. There was no use in bringing up the past too much. She took a deep breath and continued, this past half a year, how often have you also acted boldly and recklessly? You even dare to call him your concubine to outsiders. What are you trying to do? There are quite a few sons of aristocratic families who are like you, but who else have you seen cherishing a man like this? Yushi's eyes shifted. Suddenly, his heart twinged with pain. He chuckled and repeated, the son of an aristocratic family. Royal Princess Angwo furrowed her brows. What are you laughing at? I'm laughing at Royal Princess' poor memory. The corners of Yushi's lips slightly curled up. He softly said, Zhongyuan. He was originally the son of an aristocratic family, too. Royal Princess Angwo stopped breathing. Speaking of which, aside from the imperial blood of unknown origins in my veins, said Yushi, before lowering his head and scanning himself, then continuing to ask Royal Princess Angwo, is there anything about me that's better than him? He was born to a noble family with a noble bloodline. In his youth, he was raised by a prince of the first rank. After beginning his academic career, he was taught by the emperor's teacher. Talent, reputation, a gentleman's virtue. I can't be compared to him at all. Yushi gazed at Royal Princess Angwo and inquired, did you forget? Who ruined him? Yushi honestly couldn't repress the hatred in his chest any longer. He gazed at Royal Princess Angwo. Mother. Yushi's lips slightly quivered. He choked out, Goyun and I used to be a perfect match. We were originally a match made in heaven. Yushi tugged the lantern hanging from the horse carriage off in one motion. The horse whinnied. Yushi snatched the imperial decree out of Princess Royal Angwo's hands and used the fire in the lantern to light it. The dancing flames in Yushi's hands made his originally handsome face seem ghost-like. He stared straight at Princess Royal Angwo. "You tell me. Who ruined us?" "Huh." Royal Princess Angwo's heart skipped a beat. She couldn't help taking a step back. "Shortly after Guiyuan left, I became mad, but I occasionally was in the right state of mind, too. Thinking back on the unspoken words he left for me, I also wanted to go find him." Yushi's voice was slightly hoarse. "But was I worthy to? You people harmed him so much. Was I still worthy to go looking for him?" Yushi's mental state was a bit off. He could faintly hear a voice saying to him in his head, "You are just like this." I often hear these auditory hallucinations. I hallucinate that I never hurt him." Yushi shook his head and muttered to himself, "But no. You people caused me to become an unworthy match for him long ago." The voice in his head sounded out again, "No, you're worthy." Yushi shook his head. "I'm not worthy." "You're worthy." Yushi threw the almost extinguished flame in his hand onto the ground. "No." "Yes." Yushi had completely lost his wits. He smiled bitterly. "See? I heard it again." Rendered speechless, Princess Royal Angwo nervously checked their surroundings. Following that, she said, "I think I heard it, too." Yushi froze. In the horse carriage, Zhonwan awkwardly drew back the curtain. "Suiyu, were you singing mountain songs with me just now?" This time, it was Yushi who was rendered speechless. End chapter.